You know what I'm talking about? We've all seen it. That tiny little hairline crack that just appears on the wall one day, and it's so easy to just ignore it, right? Maybe slap a little paint on it and call it a day. But what if I told you that little crack could be the first clue in a much, much bigger household mystery? Well, in this explainer, that's exactly what we're going to uncover.
So let me just ask you, straight up, what's actually hiding behind your drywall? It seems like a simple question, doesn't it? But honestly, the answer could be the difference between a 5-minute fix and a $5,000 renovation. So yeah, let's investigate.
And look, this isn't just my opinion. This comes straight from home repair pros, the people who deal with this stuff every single day. They're the ones saying that these little cracks are often the tip of the iceberg, revealing way bigger issues. And that's exactly what we're here to figure out.
All right, so our investigation officially begins right here. We're not going to look at that crack as just a flaw. Instead, we're going to treat it like it's the first piece of evidence, the start of a hidden story that your house is desperately trying to tell you.
And believe me, the numbers absolutely back this up. According to the experts, nearly half, a full 50% of those tiny, harmless cracks are actually early warning signs. We're talking about signs of serious stuff like hidden water damage or even the foundation of your house shifting. A 50-50 chance? You got to take that seriously.
So the most important first step is to play detective and figure out why that crack is even there. It's time to round up the usual suspects.
Okay, first things first, you have to know what you're looking at. Some cracks are totally fine. They come from normal settling. Just think of it like your house kind of breathing, you know? It expands and contracts with the seasons. But on the other hand, if you see cracks that are getting bigger, maybe changing direction or getting wider, that's structural shifting. And that's not your house breathing. That is a huge red flag. And if you do have one of those red flag cracks, these are usually the culprits. You could have moisture from a leaky pipe that's just eating away at the drywall from the inside. Or hey, maybe it was just a bad installation job from the get-go. But the worst case scenario, it could be stress from the actual foundation pulling your walls apart. And for any of these, just patching the surface is like putting a Band-Aid on a broken bone. It's not going to work. And this brings us to the most critical part of our whole investigation, the hidden dangers. Because what you can't see is almost always way more destructive than the crack itself. Just let that sink in for a second. The real cost isn't that little ugly line on your wall. That's nothing. The real cost, in money, in your health, in your home safety, is what's growing and festering just behind the surface.
Let's just talk dollars and cents for a moment. If you catch a simple crack early on, the repair might cost you, say, around $300. You know, not great, but manageable.
But what happens if you wait, if you put it off? Well, that cost can absolutely explode. We're talking $3,000 or even more. All of a sudden, you're not just fixing a little crack, you're doing a massive restoration, replacing wall framing, insulation, the whole shebang. And the cost isn't just about money either. Moisture turns that tiny crack into a perfect doorway for hidden mold. And once it's in, those spores get into the air you breathe, causing those weird musty smells, kicking off allergies, or maybe that coffee just can't seem to shake. It's a real health risk, and it all starts with one small crack.
And on top of the health risks, you've got the actual structural integrity of your house at stake. A crack can be a sign that the seams and joints holding your wall together are coming apart. If you ignore that, the weakness just spreads until you might have to replace the entire wall.
Okay, so that's the problem, and yeah, it sounds a little scary. So how do we solve the case? Well, this is where getting a professional diagnosis makes all the difference in the world.
See, a pro doesn't just show up and slap some spackle on it. They investigate. They start with a visual assessment, looking at where the crack is, which way it's going. Then they pull out special tools to actually check for moisture behind the wall. And only then do they repair it from the inside out, tackling the root cause.
And this right here is the fundamental difference between a quick DIY patch and a real professional repair. That spackling paste you buy at the store, it's a temporary cosmetic fix. The crack almost always comes back. A pro uses industrial-grade stuff, like special compounds and mesh tape, to actually strengthen the wall. It's a permanent solution.
Now, let's switch gears and talk about prevention, because the best way to deal with a problem is to make sure it never happens in the first place. Think of this as your official home protection plan, your playbook for becoming the guardian of your home.
And it's actually pretty simple. Here are 4 things you can do. Keep your home's humidity in that sweet spot between 40 and 55%. The second you see a leak, fix it. Don't wait. After each winter, just do a quick walk around and inspect your walls. And finally, use a dehumidifier in places like basements. Seriously, a 10-minute check-in a few times a year could save you thousands.
So when you boil it all down, the big takeaway is this. That small crack isn't just an imperfection. It's a message. It's your home's built-in early warning system, trying to tell you that something, somewhere, needs your attention.
And so, that really leaves us with just one last really important question to think about. After everything we've gone over, what is your home trying to tell you? Thanks for tuning in.